Hi, welcome to Let's Stamp with Phyllis. It is July, and a lot of times we always think of Christmas in July, so today I wanted to share with you a little Christmas card that I'm making, and I'm using a set called For the Birds. And this is a great set because, and I'm sorry I keep pushing my cat away, so that's where you see my arms. And it's really great because it has a lot of different occasions that you can use, and it's wonderful if you'd love to sit and color. Of course, you never have to color any image, so don't think just because it's what we call a lined image that you have to color it. You don't. But I love to color. You've heard me say it before. When I was a kid, I'd color when I was sick, and it's a comfort feeling. It's kind of like that comfort food. So, what I also wanted to show you on this card, and I'm not really sure you can see it, but I have crystal effects on here, so it looks like it's ice, and the bird is actually, and I'll see if I can get it in a little closer for you. Don't you love that? He's actually skating on the ice, so, oh my gosh. Okay, got it? Because that was probably the most difficult thing I did during this video. I could zoom it in, but you know, then it would totally mess me up. So, what I have done is, this is my card base. All the measurements and product information will be linked to my blog below this video, so you can tune in there for that information. And just in case you're wondering, it's your standard card size. This is 8.5 inches by 5.5 inches, and the score line is at 4.25 inches. Then I went ahead and I took another piece of cardstock, and it's the same color. I don't know if I told you, it's Lost Lagoon, and this measures 5.25 inches by 4 inches, and I ran that through the Big Shot, and I used a new embossing folder, and this is called the Extra Large Dots embossing folder, and right now it's kind of my go-to go-to embossing folder. I just absolutely love it. So let me go ahead and get started with our actual image. Okay, so this is the image. Merry Christmas. And I'm going to stamp that on a piece of Whisper White cardstock. This cardstock measures 3 inches by 4.5. But before I stamp that, I need to make my pond of ice. That is going to tell me where I stamp my image. So what I have done is I've used my oval framelits and just made a template. And I'm just going to lay it down on my card. And if I use my grid lines, I can make sure that my cardstock is straight. Okay, so let me go ahead and put it about right here. And I'm going to take my Marina Mist and my Stampin' Sponge, and I'm just going to hold it. And now that I've got it lined up, I can go ahead and move it. I'll just move my whole thing. Okay, can you see? Yes. And I start out in a light motion, light circular motion, and then I press harder. That way I tend to have less goops or gops of ink. But I will tell you, if you've ever been to an ice rink, you know that it's not all solid color. There's some light ice that's darker than the other. Okay, so let me go ahead and turn that. And I'm going to take my mask off, and there is my pond. I just love it, love it, love it, love it. Okay. Now I'm going to take my Tuxedo Memento Black ink, and I'm going to take my bird, and I'm going to stamp that so his foot is right on the ice. Okay, got that? He is so cute. And then I'm going to color him in, and I'm going to color him in using some blendabilities. And this is a really good thing for you to be aware of, is that you don't have to use just one group of blendabilities when you do your coloring. You can use an assortment, which is exactly what I've done. And, oh, I've got one right here. Whoops, upside down. So let me go ahead and get my bird started. And I'm going to start the bird with Cherry Cobbler, and I'm going to color with my more pointed image, which is this thin line. and I'm just going to color the whole bird in. And again, you want to color right inside the line. You know when you take alcohol and you drop it down and the alcohol goes whoosh? Well, these markers are going to do the same thing. They are going to bleed out just a little bit, so the way to prevent that is just go ahead and color inside the line. Okay, so there he is. And I want to do a little bit of shading around his wings, so I'm going to take my medium cherry cobbler and I'm just going to color around his wing. That makes his wing pop out, and where there's going to be a shadow where his scarf is and where his hat is. I'm assuming it's a he. And then to blend those two lines, I'm going to go back over, and I'm doing it in a circular motion and going over it again with the light cherry cobbler. Okay? And that's all there is to that. Now for his skates are going to be smoky slate. So we're just going to go ahead and color those in. Now smoky slate will be available on August 1st. The cherry cobbler is available now. And today is, when I'm recording this, today is July the 13th of 2014. So I know videos have a tendency to be here a long time, so if you're watching after August 1st, 2014, all these products are available. Let's go ahead, and for his hat and scarf, I'm going to go ahead and just color the whole thing with the light old olive. And then I want to accent part of that, part of his scarf, with the Coastal Cabana. And I can color right on top of the old olive, it doesn't matter. Okay? And see how that just shows through? Oh, also I want to go ahead and let me color this little ornament that this bird is carrying. So I colored that with the medium Coastal Cabana. Now I'm going to use the Melon Mambo. They do seal tight, and if they didn't seal tight, you would be very upset because all your alcohol would evaporate. We don't want that to happen. Okay, that, my friends, is all the coloring. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to mount that on a piece of old olive, and I will tell you the old olive is 4 5/8 by 3 1/8. And when you adhere this to the old olive, this is very important. You want to make sure that you use Tombow, and you want to put it all over. And there's a reason for that. And I will tell you in just a second after I apply my crystal effects. So here we have that mounted on there. I'm going to go ahead and mount this on the bottom of my card, and I'm also going to use my Tombow. You can either use Tombow, Fast Fuse, Sticky Strip. You don't want to use Snail when you're adhering a textured image to a card base, because you don't have a flat seal on that because of the embossed cardstock. And again, this is a tone on tone, same color, textured on a solid base. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and mount this with dimensionals. Don't worry, I haven't forgotten all the things, the little embellishments. Now again, I'm going to put my dimensionals in 4 corners, put one in the middle, and again, where that pond is, I'm just going to put some extra dimensionals there. And I know you're probably looking at, oh my gosh, what is she doing? Look. $3.95 for 300. I can use as many as I want, and quite frankly, I don't like getting the card and going like that and it going way down. Just, you know, I don't. So you use as many dimensionals as you like. I don't know if Judy's watching. Judy, you know who you are. Judy and I love to use our dimensionals, so shout out to Judy. Okay, let me go ahead and just get the backs off. And you notice how I used my paper piercer, which is always beside me when I am stamping. Okay, so now I'm just going to go ahead and mount that on my card. Try to get that centered up. Okay, so now I have 2 things left on this card. I want my pond to shine, and I want to put a little bit of embellishment on his little hat. So I'm going to go ahead and zoom in a little bit so you can see what I'm doing, okay? And for the hat, I'm going to take some Silver Dazzling Details, and I just kind of shake it down so it's at the top. And I'm just going to squeeze a big glob out. Just take your paper piercer and pull off the extra. And I'll tell you one thing, I'm spreading it down. When Dazzling Details dries, it dries flat. So that's going to be just fine. I did that just for you. It was not a mistake on my part. Yeah, okay. Now, to put the crystal effects on here, what I'm going to do is I'm going to start on the outer edge. I squeeze a little bit and I spread, and I'm going to go all the way around the edge. And what happens when crystal effects dries, if it's a certain thickness, and this is a lot of crystal effects, I'm not going to kid you, it will make the paper bow. So remember how I told you to put the tombow on there, be very generous, make sure that it's good coverage all over, and then on the dimensionals, I said the same thing. I am not doing his skate, I am going around his skate, and then I'm just going to fill it in. And I'm pressing a little bit and spreading, press and spread. Kind of do it at the same time, but you can see how that crystal effects is just all coming out there, and it looks just like an ice skating rink. Now I will tell you it's going to take at least an hour for this to dry, sometimes a little bit more, especially depending on what area you live in. If by chance you have some crystal effects that goes out of the line, if you take your paper piercer, and I don't have any, but you could go right around it and peel it off, and it will take the crystal effects off. So let me zoom back out just a little bit, okay? So this is our card. Again, it's our Merry Christmas card done with our For the Birds stamp set, and I hope you enjoyed it. If you have any questions, please feel free to email me at letstamp@cox.net. And again, all the information for the products and the link to my blog will be below. So just click on www.letstamp.com. It'll shoot you over to my blog, and you'll get all the information for this project and the product numbers, ordering information, etc. Thanks so much for tuning in. I really am glad that you stopped by and see me, and I will close my trap and let you get on the stamping. Thanks so much.